Okay, cool. No questions. That's great. So supports, I think Blizzard's spot on with the self-heal buff from Overwatch 2. It allows all supports to heal themselves without using an ability. I'm liking the uniqueness to all the heroes. Shotgun Joy, that's really what I want them to feel a little more unique without them being specialists. Don't work in Overwatch. They don't. They don't fucking work. They never have, they never will. As long as swapping is in the game. If you take swapping out of the game, specialists can work. That's why in Dota or any MOBA, last pick can be super impactful because no one can change your strategy at that time. So outside of that change, I want heroes to feel unique, but to be generalists in general. I don't want them to be too specialized in a field of combat. I don't want everything to be specialized in like, oh, this hero just kills you in short range, or this hero just dominates you if you're in a closed-in area. Because we saw what happened to specialists when that did happen. When Junkrat could kill anyone in close range with 120 damage mines with two of them, they nerfed them to fucking high hell so people could actually fight him in close range areas. So now it's like, okay, well, what's the point of playing him if he's not as strong in a close range area if the other opponent can just, once they get good enough, can kill me? It's better for a specialist to learn a generalist so they can beat the specialist in their own game. And that's the truth about it. If you're a really, really good generalist, specialists don't matter to you. You just walk right over them. So, my general idea for supports in Overwatch 2, while there is the healing debuff in play, I still want supports to have very strong healing, but I want to make, I always think of like a sine wave. I want their downtime to be a little bit more. By allowing supports to have burst healing, essentially conditional burst healing, it allows them to feel impactful, like they did something. And maybe with Overwatch 2 and only needing one tank and me not playing it yet, I lack the insight and the actual data that to say this. But it seems like what Blizzard is saying is that supports are so strong that basically you only need one main healer or one healer now, and the other healer can kind of be doing more damage. Or both can be healing a little bit and doing damage a little bit. I don't have my hands on that data, and I can't see matches to prove that. So my idea for supports is to allow them to have impact through healing and utility rather than damage, which it appears Overwatch 2 is going. Now, I could be completely wrong on this, and that's fine. This is just I'm dealing with the design constraints that with the data that I have. So what I want with supports, again, high burst healing but longer cooldowns so that people can take advantage of these windows. And if supports are kind of the ability-based heroes along with tanks to get people from MMOs and MOBAs, then if you misuse an ability, you should be punished pretty heavily. And by punished heavily, I mean, yeah, you should probably be dead. Or at a severe disadvantage. So for Ana, right off the bat, reload increased to 2 seconds. Right now it's 1.5. And I guess before, 90s Dude says, I think Zarya can't use bubbles reactively against hit scans, meaning if her charge decays fast, it would be hard to play against hit scans with such change. Hit scans with my patch notes have been nerfed a bit. And the idea is to put pressure on while using a bubble to get high charge. I think simply just from the threat of a hero killing you, and also with bubbles having less health overall, if a McCree shoots you once and you have a bubble up, you've gotten, I think, 40 energy with my changes. So it doesn't take much for a hit scan to slip up and give you a lot of charge. So back to Ana. Ana, she has the best healing with her primary. That's great, but I want it to come at a cost. I always thought about lowering the clip size, making her reload more, but I would rather just increase the reload speed and leave everything else as it is. I think that'd be the best unintrusive way to do that. Now, big change for Sleep Dart. The truth about Ana. What is Ana? Ana is anti-ultimate. What is the purpose of stunning someone for 5 seconds? Realistically, like design-wise. Nothing else in the game does that. Why would you want to stun someone for 5 seconds? Design-wise, like, why? That sounds like no fun for the guy that gets stunned. He's dead every single time. The only reason for that is to deal with transformation ultimates. Ana has 2 abilities. One shuts down transformation ults, or channeling ults. The other one stops all healing ults. We dealt with transformation ults by making them not transform. So we don't need a 5-second sleep or a 4-second stun anymore. So Sleep Dart, going to be a little less of a cooldown. It gives a debuff for 5 seconds. It no longer stuns, but it does do an interrupt. Sleep Dart size also is 0.2, so it's the size of Junkrat's grenade right now. Cut it in half to 0.1. Sleep Dart now doubles the cooldown of any ability and reload done while under the effect. It also slows down attack speed by 50%. What I want Sleep Dart to be, I want it to be used often. I want it to be a hard ability to hit. But if it lands, I don't want it to be like, oh, Ana wins. Good GG's. I hit an ability that, is the size of Junkrat's grenade. I guess I win every fight because of this. I want it to have counterplay. So as soon as someone gets hit with this dart, they have to make a conscious decision. Do I run away and Ana gets to live? I can't do shit about it. Or do I press my luck? Does a Genji try to dash, which would double the cooldown if he misses and doesn't get the kill? And he tries to hit his burst damage, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. It puts a lot of counterplay and it puts a lot of skill in jeopardy. And I love that. I love the idea that, especially for something like a Genji, if he gets the kill, his cooldown's reset and the double cooldown doesn't matter. Awesome. With a Tracer, she can try to dash in, recall out. She gets hit with this, recalls on like a 30-second cooldown then. Also, her blinks, if she blinks when she's doing that, they're on an 8-second cooldown. Right? Like, things happen, and they get heavily punished if they can't kill the Ana, and their risk doesn't pay off. And it hurts them in the long run. Right now, if Tracer triple dashes, she recalls, and in 12 seconds, she has all her abilities back. Not a big deal. I guess if she gets slept, she dies. I don't like that. I want there to be more give and take with it. So with this, it reminds me of when I played Weapons Factory. This is basically a Weapons Factory. Spy had a tranquilizer dart launcher that halved your attack speed and halved your movement speed. The movement speed would be a little bit too crazy, the half, but I think this would make dart a lot more interesting. And it still stops abilities, so people are like, oh, if a Doomfist is slamming and I hit him with it, it doesn't stop him. No, it interrupts. If someone's reloading and you hit him with dart, it'll interrupt that reload and stop. If someone's using an ultimate, it's going to interrupt it and stop it. Except for Winston. But other than that, it stops all ultimates. Genji's blading towards you. He dashes. You hit him with the dart. It cancels his ultimate. If he uses dash again, it double cooldown. So it still works to hurt people. To really shut down stuff down. Bionic Grenade debuff from 4 seconds to 2 seconds. The buff stays at 4, though. I think no healing is a little bit too strong. Even in Overwatch 2, even with the changes I've discussed, it's just too good. Nano Boost. No longer gives damage boost, but it gives attacks targets the effect of plasma and applied reduced healing. Nano Boost now gives the target CC immunity. So what I mean by plasma is it can't be deflected or absorbed, meaning whoever on a nano boost may not do additional damage, but it's consistent. It can't be stopped, essentially. It also applies the healing debuff. Also, they can't be stunned, slowed, or anything like that. I think damage boosting in Overwatch is really dangerous. It fucks with a lot of different parts of the game, and I don't like giving it out so much. That's why I nerfed Orisa's ult. I changed Mercy so she doesn't have it. You'll see later on, but yeah. And here's my notes about it. I love checking my own shit. People need to do this more often. Write down your notes. Make sure it's what you think. And then like go over your changes. And then be like, alright, does my summary match what I thought my summary should be? Then it's like, oh, okay, all my ideas were still in line. Corovan's idea in Overwatch 1 is anti-ultimate. She retains these with these changes, just not as hard. Sleep Dart is harder to use, but if land provides something players can now play around instead of instant I win button. I use almost those words verbatim. It still stops ultimates and incoming dives with the interrupt, but now the player has that got shot has to make a choice. Do they attack and try to kill Ana, with no choice of getting their abilities and reload back, or do they retreat and find another way to attack? Nano Boost to me is the positional breaker. It's there to stop players from turtling hard. It retains this property without giving obscene damage. Perfect. So Baptiste, people will be happy to know that the only thing I changed with him, Immortality Field. This is a little bit weird of a mechanic. It's used in MOBAs, but we're going to try it in Overwatch. Immortality Field now stops all damage from being done while it's up. Any damage taken during its duration is then applied once it goes down, but it can never be lowered to below 0. Immortality Field duration down from 5 to 2. Immortality Field cooldown from 25 to 20. Immortality applies a constant cleanse every 0.5 seconds. So the idea is this. This whole kind of saves everyone. I do like. What I like about Immortality Field is that it forces people to follow up on damage. Baptiste came around during the time of Grav Dragon. It was very, very popular to Grav Dragon. Mercy would damage boost the Hanzo. Everyone would be fucking dead. There's nothing you do about it. And they would usually just shit this stuff out at far away ranges. What his Immortality Field does is it stops that. You actually have to deal damage and then follow up on it. And so I do that, and it's a little bit of extreme sense. But essentially, you will live forever in Immortality Field, but its duration is significantly lower. But you will take all of the damage that you took during that time you're in there afterwards. As soon as you leave it, you take all this damage at once. But it won't kill you. It'll leave you at 1 hit point. Also, I wanted to apply a cleanse just because I think it needs a little bit more utility. I lower the cooldown so you can use it as utility a little bit more. But the idea is if you get hit with shit under this and you survive till the end, as soon as that Immortality Field goes down, your entire team's going to be low hit point. And you better do something or everyone's going to die. I like that a lot better than now, because 20% hit points for some heroes is, it's a bit. Most heroes are at 40 hit points. Tanks are at like 100 or so, and, they can survive after the Immortality Field breaks. And it's not that I don't want that, it's just I think there should be more favorability for following up. And actually, this is all I think that should change with Baptiste. I think he's in a really good spot. Like, his healing is really good. His healing, requires a little bit more of a skill shot because it does do reduced healing if you don't hit people directly. I do think Healing Aura is one of the lamest abilities in all of the game, but I'm not going to fuck with that because he does need some way to heal himself in emergency scenarios. And shooting at the ground is not good. But, so what I say is Baptiste is actually... Oh, also, I don't know if I said this, but his DPS is fucking phenomenal. Baptiste, wonderful DPS. Baptiste is in a pretty good spot right now. If anything, he's overtuned on the DPS side, which is fine for the changed Overwatch 2. I feel is in a strange spot for me balance-wise. I love it because it removes unfollowed-up damage, which was very common during Grab Dragon era, and as much as players hate that it stops them from making a play, the act of using it is a play itself. That doesn't mean the game shouldn't reward players that follow up damage on Lamp. Now with damage all done to everyone at once, it's easier to take advantage of it. While I do lower its cooldown and nerf its primary feature, I did add some utility to it. Exactly what I said. Brig is actually the most boring hero for me because I'm just like, fuck yeah, Brig's. I think Brig is perfect in Overwatch 2. They made Shield Bash low cooldown, high mobility, doesn't stun. Wonderful. I'm fine with her packs being good, and I'm fine with her AoE healing, and I think they do nerf it a little bit. But as much as people hate Brig, we have to go back to what I said about Winston and Reinhardt and those heroes. There are players that don't want to play like a healing support, but do want to play support. There needs to be some specialties, some heroes that can heal without you having to worry about healing directly. Lucio and Brig are these options. What Hog is to tanks for being the DPS choice to play a tank, Lucio and Brig are the DPS choices to play support. I think AoE healing is fine. With healing nerfed, that's going to get nerfed a lot. If with my change to the explosion damage, if your entire team is healing 30% less and your healing is only like 16 a second from Brig, good luck healing 10 hit points a second. Like, it's not going to be very pretty. So I think she's doing quite well, and I think she fills a role that I don't say needs to exist, must exist, as Overwatch's core feature is accessibility. There are people that want to play melee heroes and they want to be a melee support. The game needs to support that idea. I don't care if people hate it or not. Fuck it. Lucio, much like Brig, is in a pretty good spot. I would change one thing, and that is to give Lucio a little bit of utility. If Lucio is part of any environmental death, he and anyone else that's credited with her death receives 100% of the max HP of the target. Meaning, if a hog with 50 hit points gets booped off the map, and like the kill feed shows Lucio, Mercy, Zen, that can't even happen. Lucio, Mercy, Soldier, then those three heroes all get 600 hit points to their ultimate instead of 50. I think it would add a little bit of a unique utility to Lucio, and Lucio's big deal is environmental kills, and this just supports it and puts it to his team. And it's not going to be so crazy. Like, I thought about it. I'm like, what if he just, and anytime Lucio gets an environmental kill, that environmental kill gives his ult percentage to everyone on the team. Like, that would be some crazy utility, but I'm like, that may be too much, too crazy. Because then if he boops a 600 hit point hog off the map, then your entire team gets, 3,000 hit points worth of ult charge? That's a little too strong. I just say Lucio's underrated as one of the most balanced heroes of all time. He has great mobility, can pressure DPS, and supports alike while keeping tanks annoyed. Still, I wanted to add some unique utility to him based on environmental deaths. Really, outside of Lucio getting his speed nerfed, can anyone think of any big changes to Lucio? Like, his damage wasn't fucked with almost ever. They made his right click not take ammo. They changed his speed a long time ago during the Reaper meta. The hero's been rarely touched. So next, I'll talk about Mercy. First of all, damage amp remove. Get rid of this. Damage amp is... It's the cause of a lot of issues in Overwatch. Oh, I'll do this one. I'm not going to remove Resurrection, but I can fix it with one simple change. Souls no longer stay until they respawn. They only last for 3 seconds after death. If you kill someone, Mercy immediately has to go over there and resurrect them. I think it's really stupid that you have to camp a body for 8 seconds to stop the Mercy from resurrecting them. And like even 3 is a little bit long. I wanted it to be 2. I think this perfectly balances it. It adds a rush. It adds a need. You are forcing the Mercy. You are forcing the enemy team to make a big change because you got a pick, which should be the case. Now you have a chance to undo this pick, but your team has to rally around this idea and save them immediately. You can't just fuck around and allow, oh, I'm going to pressure the left side. Oh, you don't want to stop me on the left side because you're camping the body? Sweet, now we get the point. Oh, you left? Because now you're attacking us because you have to? Okay, I'll go over there now on the right side and I'll resurrect him. I don't like that. I want to add a little bit more pressure to Mercy players. Now for the ability to... Maybe 3 seconds was good. I think that's what I said, Squid. I was like, 3 seconds, I think that's reasonable. People can react to that. And then the gamer in me is like, fuck them, 2 seconds. This is the ability I want to replace damage. Now, lore-wise, a lot of people play Mercy because they want to be that low mechanic, high support, I'm here for you, check this out. You literally dash at people with angel wings to protect them. It's like the core concept of support manifested. The problem is, it's always, and I hate this, it's the cliche, just absolutely dynamite bombshell blonde woman who's just super passive in everything she does. I don't like this. I don't like healers always being like, oh, I gotta sit back and be passive, yada, yada, yada. I want Mercy to have an active, in-your-face moment where she's not just supporting you passively, she is actively helping you. And it's visual in this as well. So I call it Angelic Protection. You can call it whatever you want. 12-second cooldown, lasts for 1 second. 0.5-second cast time. Mercy looks like she does in her alt form, meaning, or resing, like we're sure her wings are wide, and is slowed by 50%. Mercy is invulnerable to all damage and control. If anyone doesn't remember this is what she was when she was resurrecting with 5-man ult, or a full man res. Originally, she was invulnerable during that time. You couldn't kill her once she got it off, and then she would just fly away. So I want this ability to block all line of sight, and it blocks, she's invulnerable, so it blocks all damage. It'll block explosions, all of that. Angelic Protection heals for a 2-meter AoE around her for her current healing rate. This is to account for her loss of healing while channeling. The idea is I want this hero that's always, oh, I'm in the back, I'm supporting you guys. Good job, look at you, you're getting healed. Good job, guys. And I want this idea to flip. And you're like, fuck you, I will save you, and they body block for you. If you're about to die and you literally see an angel jump in front of you that's glowing and stops all the damage, that's very visual. It's understood your life was saved by this thing in front of you. And it takes this passive support bullshit mentality, this cliche that I just really don't like, and it completely turns it on its head for just a brief moment. It also is an ability, so it's just about a button press, but it's very skill. It's essentially it's a skill shot to a hero that doesn't have a lot of skill. I don't want to put that in a negative way, but like if you look at all the skill it takes to play all heroes, I'm not saying movement wise it doesn't take skill as Mercy. I'm just saying it takes less skill than other heroes. I'm not saying she's an easy hero by any means, but she's easier than most other heroes. And so we just say, no, fuck it. I'm putting in this amazing skill shot for her. I think it works really well. I really like this idea. Especially getting rid of damage. Because I think a lot of heroes aren't buffed damage-wise. Because Mercy and other damage boosts exist in the game. Like, I think Junkrat could go up to 130 or 140 damage if damage boost wasn't in the game. And then here's my little notes on her. Mercy overall is in a good spot. Her damage off causes a lot of issues, so it's removed, and instead she gets an active ability. I think this is important not just for game design, but also for how she feels. She's meant to be an angel that comes to you and passively helps you, but now she has an active defensive ability to literally save your life. So the cliche of I'm a nice, sweet passive healer has a moment of I'm actively saving your ass as you're looking at my back. The entire res issue is solved with a simple change of forcing Mercy to pick someone up immediately. You don't have to camp a corpse for 8 seconds. Now when Mercy could just hop over. Merc says, for some reason this reminds me of Uber and TF2. But then again, this is probably more about you described about super passive support. Correct. Yeah, actually, I mean, it's a good point to bring up. The medic in TF2 is super passive. That's what he is. But then, for a brief moment, you're insanely aggressive. I don't want Mercy to be insanely aggressive. I just want her to be actively defensive. And to add more skill. I think it would add a really, really nice skill shot to the game. I will say that as, yeah, Squid, you say Battle Medic. Oh my god. Me and my buddy, Train Rider Jay, if he's still out there, hope he's still doing good. Once one of us would get ultimate, you had that knife that would give you more ult charge whenever you hit someone. Holy shit. We would Uber each other and just constantly hit them once and then turn and Uber my friend while he hit someone once and he would turn and it was just this constant chain back and forth. It was... I feel bad for picking on the shitty players, but holy shit, that was hilarious. Oh, you said I don't know a word? Don't say that shit. Moira. So, I get that people are upset with Moira. People think her main attack is too easy, and they think she just lacks utility. The funny part is that's the same thing. Moira's utility is keeping mobile heroes at bay. Essentially, her utility is self-preservation. With Fade, with her ability to heal from enemies, she has the ability to just last a lot longer in combat. I get that her healing seems boring or lame, but I don't know. I don't think it's that bad of a design. It is a little bit of a simpler design. Nothing wrong with that, though. But I really like the fact that it's a very selfish support with utility. I think that's a valid form of design. I think there should be a selfish support. But I do want to add some more skill set to her skills. And basically I do that with one change. Her orb, whenever you launch orb, the button can be pressed again to detonate. If it's a healing orb, it explodes and cleanses in a 5-meter area. If it's a damage orb, it explodes and slows healing, so it's like the negative 50% healing debuff for 4 seconds in a 4-meter area. It's just a little bit of a change, but does add a degree of interest to it. and I actually call myself. This is great. Most people hate Moira and say she has no utility. They also curse her for her ability to skilllessly put down flankers. Literally her utility. This is Moira's utility because flankers have never been nerfed. We had more utility on her by making her sacrifice her orb, unless timed very well. So yeah, you could use up 99% of the orb and then detonate it. That's just good orb management. I think that should be rewarded. But overall, I don't hate Moira where she's at. And with the game going towards more damage-oriented, I think we'll see Moira, like, her strengths are going to be very, very noticeable. Because now that they have a Moira, she's undivable. Or if you dive her, she's going to heal. Or she can just kind of get away. She can heal through some stuff. You know, it's very wishy-washy if you're diving on a Moira now. Or I should say in Overwatch 2. And because of all the changes in Overwatch 2, I actually don't want to change Moira that much. Because when someone's utility is doing more damage than other supports, or having more survivability than other supports, Overwatch 2 changes survivability greatly. So how can... I don't feel comfortable making that big of a change to her without seeing the effects of Overwatch 2. And now for the last one. Zen. Now, I may say some things here and they may be wrong, but let's go. So first of all, Discord's been removed. It's not been removed. Discord's been moved to a passive. Anything hit by Zen now takes 20% more damage for 2 seconds. Also, it no longer grants vision to the Zenyatta. This both... It does a lot very simply. 1, it's now a skill shot. 2, it doesn't get vision, so Zen doesn't get this ridiculous fucking free advantage. 3, it allows Zen, if he's skilled, to apply Discord more liberally, and allows it to be applied to objects such as shields and turrets. But, most importantly, we nerf its strength. So instead of 25% damage boost, it goes down to 20. So it does a lot of things, but I think it puts it in a really nice place. Is there a maximum amount of Discord at one time? No. It just lasts for 2 seconds. So if you hit someone and you hit someone again, so you can hit 5... If someone hits 5 people separately with his charge attack, yeah, fucking all of them are discording. Yeah. Man, if I saw some person out there, I would shake their goddamn hand. I would say, yeah, that's good job, buddy. That's phenomenal. I wanted to, and this is where I'm just a little bit iffy. I wanted to add Orb of Discourse. Orb of Discourse decreases the effect of buffs and debuffs. So on allies, it'll cleanse every 2 seconds. On enemies, it'll increase debuffs by 50%. If Orb of Discourse is unused... Actually, I don't want this. So, since there's been a lot of changes to debuffs and buffs, I kind of wanted Zen... At first, I was like, what I want Zen's Orb of Discourse to be, it was like... At first, I was like, it should be like an orb of... How did I think of it? Of, like, inevitability. Like, if someone was taking a damage over time ability, I wanted to immediately apply all the damage over time right away. Like, Zen made things happen. He's like, this is the way of the world. This is what's going to happen. It's happening now. And then I was like, that gets a little bit too convoluted, a little bit too crazy. And I was like, he does need a debuff. Or a cleanse. We need more cleanses in the game. So this will cleanse every 2 seconds on an ally. And on enemies, it increases debuff by 50%. So now his one ability can be used on allies and enemies, and the other one only allies, and then his attack is only enemies. So I like that. Gives it a little more of that yin and yang type feel. But I also wanted to do this. Actually, I didn't write this down. And I probably wasn't sure about this. So Zen, as is the name is based on a Zen form, or the Zen style of Buddhism. I'm not the best with Zen Buddhism or any Buddhism or religion as a whole. Not my thing. All right, me and the guys were not on good terms. But the whole idea, a lot about Buddhism, I know this for a fact, is about like life is suffering. It's about attachments. Getting rid of these attachments is what kind of they pursue. So I take Zenyatta's concept and I say these orbs are his literal attachments, and where they're on other people, he's getting rid of these attachments, so he should be rewarded for pursuing what he believes is righteousness, or he believes is correctness. So when Zen doesn't have an ally and can't put his orbs out, he actually can't self-heal, he can't do a lot of things. But when he's doing his job, he's healing himself passively, he's also getting cleansed passively, stuff like that. It was just like a neat idea I had, and I actually like thought about it for a bit, and I was like, I think I actually like that design-wise. So he heals at the same rate as his ally. We can probably say self-heal minus 50%. If you didn't know, for the longest time, most heroes healed themselves 50% slower. Brig got 50% less heal from her rally, or her inspire, and Lucio got like 50% less healing from his ability as well. So we'll bring a little bit of that back. My notes, Zen's Discord gets nerfed again, but now is applied to anything he hits, including shields and buildings. This is to shift the game more towards FPS skill. Also, the other advantages that I mentioned before. Oh, what happened to Overwatch? Did I get banned? Did I get kicked? I think I just got kicked. Let me launch. Let's see if I got banned for using auto hotkey. I mean, I wouldn't get banned for using the controller, but I would get banned if some blue posts had stated that auto hotkey could be used for nefarious purposes, and they have banned people for that before. Alright, back to my talk. We replace his Discord with a new ability that can cleanse/increase debuffs if timed properly, as long as it keeps his low healing on players more consistent. Yeah. And this, and again, I'm not... I could say, or minus 30% healing while on. So it would just always be negatively healing. Well, not negatively healing, just always applying a 30% healing debuff. Okay. Okay, this is actually good, guys. So the only things I have left to go through are DPS, and that'll be done another day. I'll do that tomorrow. But for those of you, there's only a few of you that stuck around the whole time. Are there any comments, concerns, critiques?